Hey everyone, Anori here and welcome back to a new video, yay! This time we have a digital speed painting that I have been making in regards to my con prep this year. Woohoo! It's a magical girl, as you might have guessed from the title. And it's actually a character I made the first time for when I applied to the animation school here in Denmark, which sadly I didn't get into, but I mean, what can you do? So, first the technical parts. This drawing was made in Manga Studio 5 or Clip Studio Paint Pro, I'm pretty sure is the other name for it, with a Wacom Intuos 5 drawing tablet. The main brush I used for the line art was the G pen, and then for coloring in I used one of the mono pens, and then for shadows I used an airbrush. The entirety of this drawing took me well around 3 hours to finish, and it is sped up by a lot because of this. The character's name is Melia, and the jellyfish or her mascot's name is 35A, or just called Jelly for short, because who wants to remember numbers, right? Basically, the story is about her becoming a magical girl, way out of the typical age of girls becoming magical girls. That sounded odd. Anyway, I'm actually not quite sure what her powers are, since I have not had the chance to get that far in her story yet, but probably be something pretty fun. Her dress is based off a jellyfish in shape, or at least I try to do that with the bubble skirt and the see-through arms and whatnot. And the jellyfish is an alien from outer space who will inject magical girl powers by booming into people. So that's fun. I made this drawing with the goal in mind of potentially wanting to use it for the con prep, as mentioned, but also because I have been considering redrawing the comic pages since it was 3 years ago now that I applied for the course. And I feel that I have improved since then, and with the feedback I got back then, I feel that I can make the pages a lot better. Besides, I thought it could be fun to bring at least a couple of comic-y somethings with me to Comic Con in May here in Denmark. Yay! For the color selection, I did pretty much just take the base colors from the original comic pages that I made, also colored digitally, so that was kind of easy. And then I decided to pretty much just keep the design as it was, because I still really like that. Although I do want to brainstorm ideas for different outfits for when I draw her the next time. But my thought was to make limited edition prints of this drawing to bring with me to cons, and potentially online too, we'll see about that. Just because Comic Con is a pretty big deal and I want to make a good impression. So yeah. The character herself, again, her name is Melia. She's a college student who studies humanities, if I'm not completely wrong, and who lives by herself in the city that she studies in. 35A, on the other hand, is an alien who likes to follow the rules, and thus has the tendency of getting pretty frustrated when things aren't panning out the way they're supposed to be panning out, such as having a preteen girl, such as having a woman in her 20s becoming a magical girl rather than a preteen who they were actually aiming at. So, the story is supposed to be a comedy, with basically making fun of the whole magical girl trope and then having something darker in the background. Ooh. But yes, I had a lot of fun drawing Melia again, since she is fun to draw. I love like giving her big hair and making her sort of, I guess you could call her plus sized, I don't know, but anyway, she's definitely one of my favorite characters to doodle around sometimes. And I remember like when I got the idea for the story and when I worked on it for the portfolio, I had so many sketches lying around of her and jellyfish out on their adventures. So this is gonna be the first drawing in the series where I am going to draw other magical girls who can be considered Melia's colleagues. So I hope you look forward to that. I don't know when I will have redrawn the comic pages, but hopefully before May. And if you guys are interested, I will let you know here when they are done, since I'll probably be hosting them on Tapastic or something like that. I have a lot of comic ideas lately, and they're all gonna end up being on update whenever I can basis, because I've been pretty busy, so the background, the first version of the background was made really simply with a gradient, the sunset glow gradient I think it's called, from Manga Studio's own settings, because I just wanted something simple to fill it out and then I would enhance it later. As you can see, I'm fighting a little bit with making the clear transparent sleeves, because they weren't working with me and I'm not that good at digital drawing, so the blushing was pretty much made with blushing. The shading was made with an airbrush in purple on top of everything else and then put to multiply. And I had to go through it a couple of times, because I never realized how I want to shade stuff digitally is pretty hard for me, so I was waffling a bit back and forth, trying again, changing the color, whatnot, some of which I did not show here, but yeah. And then likewise, the highlights were made with a softer airbrush. Yeah, I used a strong airbrush for the shadows and a soft airbrush for the highlights that were made with a yellow color on a different layer on top again. So while the shadows are multiply, I'm pretty sure I chose overlay for the highlights. But the good thing about making them all purple like that is that it will make it look more uniform, like it's the same shading color on all the parts, kind of tying it together, since there isn't really any tie-in between Melia and 35A themselves, since she's pink and brown and it's blue and yellow. I also added a little bit of blush on her cheeks and knees, yeah, cheek and knees, with an airbrush, and then just multiply and lower the opacity so it wouldn't look too stark, but just to give it a little bit more play of color on her face. And then while I was looking around, Manga Studio's own materials, because wow, I forget I have to look there every time. They have really amazing things. I found this pattern called glitter, and even though I had already been airbrushing some sprinkles of light and whatnot onto the gradient, I put this on top of it and it was perfect. So I ended up putting that under all the other background layers, as well as lowering the opacity a lot on the first gradient, and then it was just, I think it turned out pretty well. And then I decided, because apparently I hate myself at times, that I wanted to color the line art. So basically what I did was that I duplicated the line art layer, and then as you can see here, I started to erase what I wanted to stay black, but then all the other lines, I changed the color from that first brown to a more purpley, and then made it, I think, color dodge onto the original line art layer. Changed it to a purpley color, and then decided again to change it a bit more. So the jellyfish got blue lines, the rings on its head became more yellowy, and also so it fit better with her skin tone, skin tone and lips, since even though I did like the soft look a lot, I felt that it could be fixed. So and that is basically why this drawing took me so long to finish. Yay! As well as me reshading some areas, blushing and blurring it all out so it would look better. But anyway, yeah, I don't have anything more else to say, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you again in the next one. So